Good morning, church. Vicky, Mark, Harriet, Wayne, good morning to you guys. I'm not going to start just yet. We still got some people coming in. But just want to kind of say good morning to you guys. We're going to be reading from Mark 5. There's also in the description, there's a few other, I think it's Matthew 9 and Matthew 10. Um, so I won't be reading from those this morning. I will be reading specifically from Mark 5, verses 1 through 20. And this is one of my favorite stories of the Bible. And then the next story afterward, which we'll get to tonight, is one of my favorites. It's probably it's one of my favorite stories in the entire Bible. And it's Jesus, this woman with belief of she will be healed even by touching his robe. So I just want to just read from here all together. But before that, I want to pray and we'll kind of just get started. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for who you are and what you're doing. And I pray that you give us new eyes for the story, help us understand, help us be quiet in this moment and just read and just really just dive into the meaning of this and show us references to other passages of the Bible and just open our eyes, God, and do this continually as we read your word. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So this story, there's some context to this, but you kind of have to kind of go back. So Jesus just stilled a storm. He just stilled a storm. Another great story. All this from Mark chapter 4, and so he just calmed the storm. His disciples are just seeing him work an incredible miracle, and they're starting to, wow, look at this man. Even the weather and the natural obeys his voice and his commands. So a very powerful story. So this is the context, just coming out of the ocean, and they go into this land, and this is what's presumed to be Gentile land. This is non-Jewish people living in this land, and they don't know anything about Jesus. They probably know Jews, but they probably have no, they're not Jewish. This is mostly Gentile land. And this is at the other side of the lake where Jesus just calmed the storm. So this is directly afterward. So I'm going to get started in reading, and I'm actually, instead of just reading the story, I kind of want to just read like almost a few verses at a time, breaking it down. So this might be a little longer, but I didn't want to fully read and then forget, things to talk about. I wanted to break down almost this entire chapter. So let's get started. Mark chapter 5. I'm reading from the Passion Translation. It's similar to the ESV, and there's quite a big story. So let's start reading. A demonized man set free. Verse 1. They arrived at the other side of the lake, at a region of Gergeses. As Jesus stepped ashore, a demon-possessed madman came out of the graveyard and confronted him. The man who had been living there among the tombs of the dead. The man had been living there among the tombs of the dead, and no one was able to restrain him, not even with chains. For every time they attempted to chain his hands and feet with shackles, he would snap the chains and break the shackles in pieces. He was so strong that no one had the power to subdue him. Day and night he could be found lurking and in the cemetery or the vicinity, shrieking and mangling himself with stones. So just want to go back to the beginning. Jesus stepped ashore. So I was trying to last night and a few nights actually before that, I was trying to kind of understand the perspectives of the disciples. I've been watching The Chosen, and it's just cool to see the perspective of the disciples and how they talk to each other, how they interact, and the characterization. But I think even in Matthew chapter 8, which is Matthew's perspective on this exact moment, he says the same thing. Jesus stepped ashore, not the disciples. So I actually believe that Jesus was the only one to step out of the boat at this moment. So they probably had just landed. They probably had just gotten to the shore, and he immediately stepped out because he knew there was someone and there was something that he had to do. There's a mission, even for this one man. And actually, probably it was two demonized men, because in Matthew chapter 8, Matthew records two demonized men. So we could say this is one or two, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is the work that Jesus does in this man's life. So I want to kind of also break down that this man was extremely strong. These demons were very powerful, but no match to the power of Jesus. And this was very intense for me to read, I think, because it was like day and night he could be found lurking in the cemetery or in the vicinity, shrieking and mangling himself. So he was hurting himself. These demons were causing him physical harm. So there was this, my heart was heavy for this. I'm like, man, this man's, possessed with demons and he's hurting himself. So that's what the enemy does. He doesn't just want, emotional pain. He's come to steal, kill, and destroy. So he will, when he's working in your life, he's not looking just for emotional harm. He's looking to physically harm you sometimes, And so because of the Holy Spirit, we've been set free from that. He's defeated death. And so it's just powerful to read this. So let's continue on verse 6. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran to him, threw himself down before him, screaming out at the top of his lungs, "Leave me alone, Jesus, Son of the Most High God. Swear in God's name that you won't torture me." For Jesus had already said to him, "Come out of that man, you demon spirit." Let's stop there. Look what the demons say. "Leave me alone, Jesus, Son of the Most High God. Swear in God's name that you will not torture me." So these demons already know the authority of Jesus. They already feel his presence. As soon as this man with the demons sees Jesus, demons run. They run to Jesus and they fall down like that. The reality that they know who Jesus is, and it made me wonder. I'm like, sometimes we don't even know who Jesus is. Sometimes we struggle with our own internal passions and things that we forget who he is. Sometimes we forget the truth of what he has done and who he is in our lives. But here goes these demons, and they know they name Son of the Most High God. They know who he is. They know his identity, and they're like, "Swear in God's name that you won't torture me." So Jesus had already said, "Come out of that man, you demon spirit." So let's continue on verse 9. Jesus said to him, "What is your name?" So immediately Jesus is asking, "What is your name?" I love the authority. I love the authority that Jesus has. So this translation says that he answered, "Mob." Most translations say legion. So both words are honestly great depictions, and I love the word legion. I think fits such a better thing. So legion at this time could be from 6,000 to 2,000. It was a Roman like a number unit for a military unit of like a number. So it could have been 6,000, could have been 2,000, 8,000, it could have been whatever. But in Matthew, there's actually in this book, in this chapter, there's a specific number. So mob, he answered. They call me mob or legion because there are thousands of us in his body. So there's not just a few demons. There are thousands of demons, and we'll get to how much there actually were and how much we can at least guess there were. He begged Jesus to repeatedly not expel them out of the region. So in other translations, it would say not expel them into the pit or into, in the book of Matthew, it says not to, this is not, like the demons would cry out, "This is not our day of torment or judgment. Like, why are you here?" So they were actually afraid of torment. They were actually afraid to be sent out into the world or sent out into hell or the pit. And so that I was like, wow, like even the demons are afraid to be sent back to be sent to the pit, because that's actually a torment for them. It's a torment for them. They're being tormented. So let's continue reading. Nearby, there was a large herd of pigs feeding on the hillside. Verse 12. The demons begged him, "Send us into the pigs. Let us enter." So Jesus gave them permission, and the demon horde immediately came out of the man and went into the pigs. This caused the herd to rush madly down the steep slope and fall into the lake, drowning about 2,000 pigs. Wow. Okay. So just recapping that, basically, this legion, this horde, this mob, they were saying, send us out to the pigs. That's how much they didn't want to be sent out without a body to possess, or something to latch onto, and do evil with. They were begging Jesus. They knew his authority. They were begging him. And I was so surprised that when I was reading this, I'm like, why did Jesus say yes? Why did Jesus almost, honor is not the word I would use, but allow this legion of demons to enter these pigs? I don't understand. And so I gotta keep reading. So let's keep reading. Now the herdsmen fled to the nearby villages, telling everyone what they saw as they ran through the countryside, and everyone came out to see what happened. When they found Jesus, they saw the demonized man sitting there, properly clothed in his right mind. Seeing what had happened to the man who had thousands of demons, the people were terrified. Those who had witnessed this miracle reported the news to the people and included what happened to the pigs. Then they asked Jesus to leave the region. And the more intense version of that is that they actually demanded that Jesus to leave the region. And so I'm going to continue reading. As Jesus began to get into the boat to depart, the man who had been set free of the demons asked him, "Could I go with you?" And Jesus answered, "No." So this is actually the first time Jesus is saying no in this entire gospel. Jesus answers, "No," but said to him, "Go back to your home and to your family and tell them what the Lord has done for you. Tell them how he had mercy on you." So the man left and went into the region of Jordan and parts of Syria to tell everyone he met about what Jesus had done for him, and all the people marveled. So I'm going to break this down, because this is seriously such a good story. So we have the demons who went to the pigs, and the pigs' reactions, it was like a stampede, and they were just the demons were in their heads, and they ran on. They fell off the cliff, and they all drowned. And so, kind of an intense moment. And I was asking him, like, God, why, like, Jesus, why would you send those demons to the pigs, and then those pigs would die and they would drown? And so it was intense. The herdsmen and seeing, and they told everyone, this man, all these pigs started falling off my cliff, and the 2,000 pigs, mind you, this is not a few hundred, this is 2,000 pigs. So this was 2,000 demons, or at least we could assume is 2,000 demons inside of this man. And so the herdsmen, they went to the villages telling people about this, and the people who witnessed this, they demanded Jesus to leave. They demanded him to leave. So I was kind of trying to figure this out, and I was reminded, in the book of Job, the first two chapters, the end, the devil, the adversary, he goes to God, and he asks God, take away something, like let me afflict Job, and you'll see that Job will reject you and curse your name. And God allows him to do this. And so there's this powerful moment where I saw this almost reflection of this, where almost it's like Jesus is showing, even like it's like testing these Gentiles, the affliction of, so these pigs probably would have cost, like I said, $300,000 of their kind of income, or how they trade. So you're talking about a lot of money in today's world, and it's like losing $300,000, and their reaction is kind of what man's, I think, natural reaction is to completely just demand that Jesus leaves, because we want to have our own will, have our own money and power. And so these people, it was a reflection of the book of Job, because the things were taken, the enemy caused affliction to these pigs, and they drowned. And so instead of these people saying, wow, look at this demonized man healed, their minds were on their pig and their money. Their minds were on their money. They weren't on the man who had just been healed that they tried to shackle, they tried to chain for probably a long time, and he would continue to break these chains off. They would even probably even mention him or even acknowledge him that he was even there healed. They saw him and they were terrified, and you're like, this is, we don't want this. And so they demand Jesus to leave. And I think of how many times in our life are we focused on swine? Are we focused on the things that are our money, our living, more than the things that Jesus is actually doing? So what I love this verse about how he's properly clothed and in his right mind. One of my favorite verses is that because he is healed and restored. Jesus is not interested in just physical restoration and spiritual restoration, in just one or the other. It's both. So this man was physically healed. This man was spiritually healed. This man was everything. His life was restored. And that's what Jesus, that's what he's in the business of. That's what Jesus is for. He's in the restoration of people in every part of their lives, not just one or two or three. It's in every part. So the encouragement here is that Jesus is looking to restore you. He's not looking to just bring you to him and heal maybe one or two parts. He's here to restore you. And I love the imagery. I love what happens. And so, I'm just going to end on this. I know it's been a little long. Thank you for staying with me. Jesus answered no, but he just said to him, go back to your home and tell your family all the Lord has done for you. So we have this huge moment where Jesus says, no, you actually can't follow me. But what you can do is go out to the world and tell people what Jesus did. And these people marveled. And he went to parts of Jordan and Syria and all those places. And these people are marveled at what they knew. This man was demon possessed. He was gone, and this man had 2,000 demons. And at one moment, at one word of Jesus or one motion, these demons were gone. And so this man was healed, restored, and believed. And he believed. I love this. He believed. So people were believing. People were marveled, and it was just a powerful testament. So that was verses 1 through 20. Tonight, I want to dive into this amazing secondary story, verse 21, and it's going to be through verse 43. So kind of a longer reading as well. Thank you for staying with me for this long today. I just want to encourage you to continue reading. Read Mark chapter 8, read Mark chapter 9. Matthew chapter 8, Matthew chapter 9. But tonight I want to continue reading Mark chapter 5. Go into the secret place today, tonight, tomorrow, this morning, and just be ready. Let's ponder this restoration that Jesus has for us and in every part of our lives. So I love you guys very much, and thank you for joining me. And can't wait to see you tonight. See you guys.